Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this open class called MSc Data Analytics in Football, a game changer. My name is Pablo. I'm a project manager of the Masters in Data Analytics in Football from Sports Data Campus. And with me today, we have some important people that are going to be part of the session with us. So let me introduce everybody. On my right-hand side in my screen, at least we have Pedro Jiménez. He's the head of MSc Academic Advising and European Scout for the Peruvian Football Federation. We also have Marek Kabat, he's data analyst and former marketing consultant and StatsBomb. Antoniades, professional football player from the Cyprus national team. We got Attila, manager tax technology at PwC Sweden, and Mamoun Said, All-Stars head coach at Brit AM Soccer Academy in the US. So welcome, guys. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Just to give it a little bit of an idea to why we came up with this session for everyone out there watching, we tend to do a lot of open classes, bringing people from the industry, from football clubs, companies, etc. And we wanted to actually have an open class where people who have just finished the Masters, but also people who are doing the Masters currently, to give us some insights, probably the best insights we can have when it comes to people who are thinking about doing the Masters, to have a better understanding of what we do in this program, right? So Mamoun and Marius, they just finished the Masters. They literally a few weeks ago submitted the final project and finished all the tasks and work. And Attila and Marek, they are currently going through the Masters. I think we are about finishing module 11, so quite close to the end of it as well. And then, you know, Pedro and I are part of the Masters. We deal with our students on a weekly basis, daily basis. So it's very important for us to have a little bit of insight from you. So just a little bit of housekeeping for everyone watching to understand how the session is going to run. We're going to go through some questions. So regarding the Masters and how the Masters has impacted them from day one, before they joined, up to this point when they are either going through it or finishing already. And then we also going to hear, especially from Mamoun and Marius towards the end, because they're going to share with us their experience and some elements of the Masters final project that they did recently, which is, for those watching out there, a small thesis, let's say, that all the students go through for the end of the Masters, the last module, putting together some of the content they've learned through the Masters, but in those areas they want to be focusing on. So we'll hear from them too towards the end of the session. Pedro, I think that's okay. I haven't missed anything, right? I think we are ready to go.
You said everything all right.
Perfect. All right, brilliant. So the first question, and obviously I'm gonna throw it out there, and we can do turns, but also it will be interesting to add things as other people are talking and create a little bit of a debate, right? So the first question goes on the line. Obviously, at some point you all made the decision to join this Masters and be part of it as a next step in your career, right? So before you were about to start the Masters, what were your thoughts, or what was the key factor that made you make that decision of, you know, I think this is the right thing for me? And obviously, when we go through one by one, it will be interesting to know what your professional goals are in football. Like, oh, I did this Masters because my goal is to become a professional data analyst in a club. Brilliant. So tell us that and how you thought at the beginning this Masters could help you on this. Shall we start, for example, from Marek?
Yeah, sure. So in general, my aim is to become or to be a professional football data analyst, and I found this as a really helpful tool how to develop, how to learn things, and it already is impacting like my career, and it's already helping me because I already work as a freelance data analyst, and I already have some collaborations with clubs, media, and league. And of course, I didn't start these because I study here, but it helped me in many ways to get there and still helping me to do the job that I do right now. So we will talk about it later, like in detail. But this was the main motivation for me to really have some development within my technical skills, and also to hear from people that have a great experience from this field.
Amazing. Thank you, Marek, for sharing that. Let's go with Mamoun, for example, next.
Yeah, thank you for having me. For me, the driving motivation was, I am in the football industry, if you like, but in the youth side of things, coaching younger kids. And my interest is started when I realized I work in the analytical space in my day job, if you like, and I realized that there's so much data out there when it comes to football, and so the goal was, how do we marry the two? And is it possible, this is my passion, is it possible to make my passion a career as opposed to a regular 9 to 5 job?
Yeah.
When I saw the program, what really drew my curiosity was the names of people who were in the industry, who were working in the industry, and are involved with the program. And I thought that would be a great way for me to kind of learn, dip my toes in, network, etc., etc. Here we
Amazing.
are.
Thank you, Mamoon. I think you touched into something actually quite important. A lot of the people who we come across that are interested, show interest in the masters, we have like different profiles, right? But we have those people who, on a daily job, they have a lot to do with data, and they have a strong passion for football. I mean, I don't know if it will be your case all the time where you're already involved in youth football or soccer and coaching and stuff, but many people have this passion of soccer, football, and this knowledge in terms of data, and they want to combine the two. It's quite common to find that profile, and for people watching who might be in that situation, I think they might be thinking what you thought at the beginning, and how this could actually help you in bringing that together. No, so thank you for that. Attila, tell us what your case is.
Yeah, it feels, Pablo, that you've just talked for me. Basically, I'm sort of a common profile, so to say, because I had a passion to do something with football. I'm playing in amateur leagues, but I'm not coming from the professional side of the football industry. I rather work with financial data at a consulting company. And I work on a daily basis with data visualization and data transformation. So some of the tools, some of the techniques that we use during the education was familiar to me. But yeah, I just wanted to connect my passion with my profession. And also I can connect to Mamoun's thoughts that my curiosity was highly increased by seeing who collaborates with Sports Data Campus on this program. So that's basically those two factors triggered me to join to the program.
Amazing, thank you. I think you guys are touching into something that, for us as a company in collaboration with the UCAM, the University of Murcia, is very important, because, to be honest, around the world, everyone is realizing how important data is becoming in professional football, as that soccer, right? So more masters and courses are popping up, but our focus from day one, when we started with these projects, was to have a strong focus on not necessarily people from the academia coming to teach in our masters, but people from the football industry. So people who are doing the do on a daily basis in top clubs in Europe, such as Victor Horta, formerly being a sports director at Leeds United and now at Sevilla FC. We work also with Monchi in some of our masters as well. And then, Anselmo from Chelsea, Jose Rodriguez from Aston Villa, Miguel Ferreira from Sporting Club de Portugal. So people in top European leagues doing the do on a daily basis that can give you not only the theory, but what you will be demanded when you are working for a professional football club. And I think that is key. And on that line, we can now hear from Marius. Marius is a professional football player in Cyprus. And his goal is quite interesting, because he comes from an idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, from more like towards a sports direction role as opposed to scouting or data analyst, right?
I was. That's correct. I was in a moment I was 33 years old last year, and I was thinking what I will do after my career, because my career is coming to the end, let's say. And my character, I don't like to be a coach. I was sure from 24 years old that I didn't want to be a coach. And I was thinking, I was liking scouting, to be a director, but the market again is competitive. I need to do something more than the others. And then I saw the masters, and I applied, and I think I did the best choice. Now
think
that
so.
I finished it, I think I did the best choice.
Amazing, amazing. It's good to hear that. It's good to hear that because obviously, when we advertise the masters and we talk about the masters, there is pretty much we cover every element of data analysis in its application in football, and we're not talking about all the all the ticketing, fan engagement. No. We focus on the game, right? And that has different branches, so to say. Like more the analytics side, the position analysis, performance, but then we have the scouting side. But from the very beginning, with that first module that we have with Victor Horta, we have that influence of the sports direction, and I think the scouting fits from that, and it gives you a good insights into that. And sometimes we actually have people who tell me, "Oh, I want to become a football coach," and I say to them, "Look, this might not be the program for you because we don't train coaches, but at the same time, our advice is always, train on everything you can related to football, because the more you learn from different angles, the more you will understand every aspect. And if you are a sports director, but you have experience understanding and coaching and managing, then you'll be able to probably deal with a lot of problems that will come up when you are there in a different way. Same with data analysts, etc. So I think it's always advisable for anyone who wants to enter the football industry, whether it's in a football club or even from the industry perspective, to have as many angles and as much knowledge from every angle as possible, right? All right. Thank you guys for sharing your initial thoughts, where you come from, and what your initial ideas on how this masters could help you in your careers was. Now, I would like to hear now pretty much the opposite. How do you think doing this masters is impacting you? And Marek already shared a little bit of it. It's impacting you. It's impacting your knowledge on these fields. And how much impact do you think these masters can have in your career from now on? For those of you like Mamun and Marius who already finished the masters, but from Attila and Marek as well, who are not close to the end, not far from the end, sorry. How do you think this masters has impacted and it's impacted the next steps in your career? Let's start now with Attila, since he was near the last.
Sure. Thank you, Pablo. Yeah, so I can also say that I I actually learned a lot about techniques that I mentioned that I already used in my daily work routine, and it feels like those skills have been even influenced by the education, and I could actually develop new skills within those techniques. But I've also learned a lot about the industry and the techniques that are used by professionals working at the highest level. And we have also gained insights into the daily operations and the functioning of top league clubs and football associations. So I think this provides a comprehensive view of what it means to be in the elite today, and hopefully it will be actually easy to apply this knowledge in a potential future position. So I think that's also my expectation, to just gain all the knowledge that I've learned during the education program, and hopefully can join into the industry at a certain point of my career.
Amazing. Thank you. And something that we need to mention, and obviously I need to be in touch with pretty much all of you in the coming days regarding internships, because something that is very important is that obviously as Sports at a Campus company, we have a strong ecosystem of clubs we collaborate with, that we partner with, in order to give our students, you guys, the opportunity to not only get the theory and train with us, but have that first step, that experience in the football industry, right? So I know, for example, I've been in talks with Mamun for potentially starting an internship with one of the clubs we collaborate with. And Attila and Marek, we need to discuss these things, because you're in a point where the master's is there, you gather a lot of the knowledge, and it's a moment to start looking into those options for those students, that could be you, who are interested in it. And also with Marius, we have some talks and ideas on potential collaborations with the Cyprus Federation and some projects that we need to discuss in the coming days as well. So yeah, thank you Attila. Let's go with Marius now. So yeah, how do you think this master's has helped you to and is potentially going to help you from now on?
I think it helped me a lot to see football from the opposite side, not the side of the football player. And to give you an example, now as a football player, one day before the game, our analyst was showing us one video, 6-7 minutes, and I was okay. It's easy to create this video, I was saying. But now I can understand that it's difficult. You have to understand a lot of things when you are watching the game. You have to show to the players things that really matters and that will help them win the game. And it's not so easy. It's a different side of the football player.
Amazing. I think that's the thing. You go you are lucky because you can see the different angles. And I remember recently we have you also in another session, and you were mentioning how nearly 10 years ago, for the first time, you saw data being part of.
I saw on 2013 or 14, if I am not mistaken, my first game in Champions League.
Yeah.
And it was the first time they sent us a report, passes, accuracy, interception. It was the first time I came across with data.
And now this is everywhere. Like, I think clubs cannot look away from it. Definitely. All right,
now
Mamun,
it's full of data.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Thank you, Marius. Mamun, tell us a little bit of how this journey has helped you into what could be the next step for you.
Yeah, definitely. So like I said earlier, I come from the youth coaching background, and in that space, data more or less does not exist. Video is making its way through, and the big piece for me, the pieces on video analysis, I'm already incorporating that in our academy. So, for instance, how do you create snippets or short clips of video that the younger kids who have zero attention spans are willing to look at and absorb? You have to be very clear, to the point, and so on. You have to understand how to use the tools. So before doing this, we would record games, we would record sessions, but we wouldn't know what to do with the video. And I think a big thing for me is now, like, okay, can I take snippets? Can I not as extensive as having full tagging windows, but doing things like telestration and so on the videos. That was a big thing for me, and I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's true. Like, especially in youth, like I was playing amateur football in London in last few years. The guy the owner of the team bought this camera, right, to be there set to record all of our games. And then at the end, they will pass the highlights and stuff, but we were using it for that, not because they didn't have any clue. But just watching the highlights and watching a few things, we were commenting, oh, look, I think it was helping us in our WhatsApp group at the time to just have some talking and some conversation of things we could improve or not. And that's without zero knowledge. No? So the moment you actually start understanding what those tools can give you and start putting things into place to help individual players, to help the staff, it can really make a big impact, no? I think.
Yeah, and to add to that, Pablo, like, so in my role, I'm responsible it's a very small operation, so I don't want to overinflate it, but I'm responsible for all the video work that we have in the academy. And so, just thinking about once you learn from the classes around about the processes that are employed by the professional clubs, what does the workflow of video look like? Then you come here and you say, okay, how do I adapt that to my program at a smaller scale? And again, for the younger ones, and they don't have cell phones, for example. Some of them, let's say, don't have cell phones, they don't have computers. So how do you adapt that, and what should your workflow look like as part of your coaching process? How do you incorporate it? And so that's very, very eye-opening for me.
Amazing. Thank you, Mamun, for sharing that. And Marek, tell us your view. Now that you are going through quite a lot of the modules and where you're at, what do you think this is, or how do you think this is impacting what is coming next for you?
Yeah, I already mentioned that it is already helping me in my career. And for example, like those programming skills that I improved within the masters, or some BI tools skills, mostly in Tableau, that I also improved during the masters. So they helped me to build, for example, my own data scouting tool in Tableau that I use. And I use it in like real data scouting, and I believe it already has an interesting added value for example, for clubs of some level. So this is really helpful for me, and it works also the other way around, because, for example, now I want to do my final project on the topic of advanced data scouting in Tableau, and I want to use there like all this experience that I have so far from using my tool in data scouting.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know if who am I missing on this second question round. I think we've gone through Mario and Mamun. Attila, have we got you as well? Yes. All right. So something I wanted to ask you as well. Obviously, you decided to jump on the masters. Obviously, you trust what you saw. You trust us when we talked about the possibilities, and then you start. And I want to know what impacted you the most of everything you've done. What session or what speaker really, share with you something that got you like nothing else in the masters so far? Because I know the programming that Marek was saying, sometimes it can get really tricky and students struggle, but also could be the most simple thing, like one of those sessions where all of a sudden Victor Orta is sharing amazing stories of the things, or what was that you guys what impacted you the most in the sessions we've had and all that? More than your work, something that someone was saying, no? Anyone who wants to go first this time? Let's say Mario, dale.
The masterclass that impacted me the most, I think, was the one with DribLab.
Okay.
If you remember, because they explained us a real case of Real Betis when Fabian Ruiz was leaving the club and they had to replace him. And through their similarity tool, they replaced him with Lo Celso, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Lo Celso, yeah.
And he did a great job. I think this, and it was in the early modules. And at that moment, I said, okay, data are working.
And the similarity algorithm, no, which is quite impactful.
After that, also in my final project, I will tell you after, I did a similarity tool. So
brilliant.
DribLab impacted me a lot.
Amazing, and that led to the
except from Victor Orta, of course. This module was amazing to learn from one of the best directors. Was also amazing.
Amazing. Thank you, Mario. So Marek, how about you?
For me, generally, the more practical, the better. So I really enjoy modules with data analysts, as for example, Pablo Sanzo from ABAR. He's really focused on working with Tableau, what is great for me. Or you already mentioned Miguel Ferreira from Sporting. He's taking care of Python module, which is really helpful for me as well. And they have a lot of experience and a lot of insights from daily work as data analysts. So that's great. And I can learn about those programs that I already know, but I also learn like basics of programs that I have never worked before. So for example, Microsoft BI and R, I didn't use before, but now, for example, creating a weather chart in Tableau is a real pain. It's like, I don't recommend to even try to do it. And now I know how to do it in Microsoft Power BI. So that was great that we were focusing on creating a weather chart there.
Amazing. Thank you, Marek, for sharing that. And Attila, tell us what session, what speaker, or what impacted you the most.
Yeah, I fully agree with Marek. Also, I'm on the practical side, though I can highlight actually theoretic educational classes as well, such as demos from two providers. I think one of the most impactful on my feeling was from Cognia. That was amazing how they could show how the AI could recognize different points, different objects, and different metrics even during the game. That was awesome. Another one, basically the whole modules from Jose Rodriguez from Aston Villa. I mean, that was amazing to see a professional data analyst working at the highest level and sharing his operative actions and tasks and activities during his work. But later modules with Python and R for me was awesome. Actually, I think that impacted on my tasks as the most, because it felt like you do something very productive from basically nothing. So you just open a blank sheet, you start something coding, and then at the end you have a visual that is fully designed by you, and it's filling the purpose that you would like to present and share with the rest of the world. So yeah, I think those were the highest impact on me so far.
Amazing. I think the programming languages which have some that, because obviously the master's is designed for people with zero previous knowledge required in terms of anything really. But obviously, if you have some, that's great. But I think putting into place the knowledge what you're learning and seeing the end result, especially with programming, can be very satisfying as well and impactful. No? So thank you for sharing that, Attila. And Mamoun, tell us what was for you the most impactful thing.
Yeah, so two things. I second the Jose Rodriguez part that Attila just shared, where he shared his workflow, and that was a big one for me to understand the workflow and how every task fits in, the weekly cycle, right? So you have a week at the end of a game at the end of the week. When do you start doing every task? When do you prepare reports? When do you do this and that and so on? So that was a big one for me. The one that I liked the most on top of that was the physical performance side. That, to be honest with you, blew me away. I was unaware of how much the technology evolved. The devices themselves, how they could measure various things using those devices, and then when it got into things like injury prevention and so on, I think that's amazing. And it's funny, I've had conversations with friends where we argue, why did this coach make that substitution? And sometimes, we're guessing, we don't know, but sometimes it could be just because the physical performance load data is saying this guy could get injured, right? So even though tactically it might not make sense, at least from our perspective, right? So that for me was very, very interesting.
I think I like what you're saying, because I think in Spain we have this saying that every single football fan in Spain is a national coach, because we all have an opinion on everything they do and everything they, not only the squad you get for the Euros or the World Cup, but every decision in every game. No, and I think as fans we lack so much knowledge into what's really going on, that exactly sometimes you see decisions being made that from a tactical perspective might not make any sense, but then they have a lot of sense for what they're doing and they know what they're doing, right? So that it goes along very much with my next question, which I don't know what you guys think, because I think above all we're all very big football fans here. I don't know, I used to play football for many years, over 20 years, not professional by the way, or anything like that, but amateur. Have you guys all played football? Obviously, Mario, obviously. Yeah, right. So love for the game started from the very beginning. And then, I don't know you, but I realized I couldn't be a football player anymore, professional one. So, you find your way. But as football fans, now forget about being students of the masters, but also as football fans, do you think this has helped you to the way you see the game, the way you actually sit down and watch? Because I don't know you guys, but I'm still a fan, raw fan. So when I'm watching football, I'm just enjoying the game and not thinking. But obviously now you have so much knowledge and you have a purpose and a goal into becoming professionals in the industry, etc. Do you struggle to see the game without the analytic mind behind it? Or has it enhanced the way you watch the game? or what can you, Mamon? You're laughing. Tell us what's going on through your head.
It's funny you bring that up because my friends say I've become annoying. Because
They don't want to watch games with you anymore. No?
they don't want to watch the games with me because I am, I think it's interesting because I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong, but I used to watch the game where I'm just I'm following the ball, and now I'm not following the ball as much, and I'm watching the game in a different way. And then my friends are sitting or watching, I don't know, Champions League game or whatever. They're arguing about something. I don't know, Vinicius did something. And I'm like, no, you have to go back because this guy was here. And then they look at me like I'm crazy and they don't want to talk. So definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Attila, tell us, what has it impacted as well? Are you become like people don't want to watch the games with you either? Or?
Hopefully not, or at least they haven't shared these thoughts, right? Yeah, but I can also say that if it is not completely changed my view on football games, but it definitely highlighted and marked different points that I haven't been recognized before. Like I played in my youth ages, like on a higher level than I do it right now, but I was always playing on the midfield, so I pretty much didn't really care about goalkeepers, so to say. However, during this year, actually, I'm really focusing also on their position and see how they perform. So that was definitely something that was totally new for me. And another thing that I would highlight is the set pieces. It feels like now every free kicks and corners, I'm so excited to see how the defensive and also the offensive tactics are applied on the set piece event. So I think one of the course, actually, one of the class, when we had to record a short video and analyze the movements, I took one of the corner from Arsenal against Crystal Palace this year, and it was, I mean, so far that corner kick actually is going wild, so to say, in the social media, because it was quite obvious how they closed the area in the penalty, like in the box, in the 5 meters box, to be able to pass the ball through the whole defense and waiting for Gabriel to score the goal. And I think the result was 5-1 or something, and 2 of the Arsenal scores were coming from corners. And since that time, I'm so excited to see corners. And like just go back by a week and see the Champions League final, where
Carvajal scored.
Exactly. So, and we also had, I told that I'm a huge Real Madrid fan, but yeah, so Real Madrid had another big chances from corner kicks after the first goal, when Nacho just exactly. So it feels like when teams can't operate well in possession with the ball, then set pieces get a higher impact on the game to decide where the victory goes.
Absolutely. I wanted to mention that goal from Carvajal because obviously he was the shortest guy on the pitch. We're talking about a German team, which the guys are huge, and the fact that, because normally, I mean, we all play football, right? The shorter guys in the corners go and to the center of the pitch to just be there for for a potential counterattack, but never really focus on that. And I think Carlo Ancelotti has done it in a couple of other times in the season. There was a game against Alaves, playing away. They were 0-0 until the 90-something minute, and Lucas Vázquez scored a header in a corner. Lucas Vázquez, which is even shorter than Carvajal. And they thought they're not really gonna emphasize marking him so much, and he moved in a way that he was pretty much there alone on his own, and he scored. Like, I think the surprise factor play a part in there, no? But it's very interesting, and I think Jose Rodriguez, that you guys were mentioning before, he's a set pieces data analyst at Aston Villa, and when he talks about, like, I think the Aston Villa was like, I don't know how many seasons, but 4 or 5 seasons without scoring a free kick. And then he was training with Coutinho without the team, and they were looking into improving all the elements, and they ended up scoring, and it was like a big deal for them. But yeah, many different things that go into place that can change the game, can make a strong impact. So it's very interesting that he's saying that. Yeah. So yeah, Marek, how has are you still a pure fan, or is it contaminated for you?
Definitely, it is. Honestly, like this whole process of becoming data analyst changed a lot my perspective on football, and it is less about and less about cheering. It's more about like focusing and analyzing, and so it's less fun, but I like it more.
Fair enough. It's good. It's what you're saying. It's less fun because it's not the fun, but it's a lot of juice that you can take. But Attila was saying, from everything you can get a lot of things, and so much to see. No, for example, I'm a big cycling fan, right? And people say to me, I watch.
Me too.
Oh yeah, good. And the typical stage with this sprint that nothing happens. They just sprint like, no, so many things happen. It's the kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the cycling is perfect example. The more you understand it and the more you focus, you can see like different layers there of what's going on there. So that's a great example.
Exactly. And Mario, tell us, because you were laughing. Obviously, you have the whole spectrum. Like, first of all, being a footballer, a professional footballer, do you also watch football? And most important, do you watch yourself as in the replay or no?
And myself, yes, all my career I'm watching as a replay.
Brilliant.
To see my mistakes. Also in the teams, we are doing individual analysis.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of NBA, EuroLeague. I don't watch a lot of football, but when I watch now, definitely it enhances the way I'm watching the game after the Masters.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on the team metrics from before the game. Before I was watching how a team press, I was saying, they press with the winger, let's say. Now I'm focusing on the PPDA. It enhanced me a lot. It's different.
Yeah. I don't know you guys, but obviously I like watching football, but so much time we have in 24 hours a day. So obviously so many games and so much going on that it's hard to watch every game, or what game do you choose to watch and all that. But now with the Copa America, the American Cup, and the Euros coming, there are a lot of games I think that are interesting from day one, because everything is at stake from day one, as opposed to a league when you got a long way to go. So I think it's going to be an exciting summer as well, from a perspective of fan and watching football and analyzing a lot. And I think Jose Rodriguez is also part of the Scottish Football Federation. He'll be working there with them. And
he won us 2 times. I met him when we played against each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was. I was doing the module with him.
From the Euro qualification. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He scored twice from set piece.
There you go. He's doing a good job.
He scored twice from set piece. Yes.
You weren't that happy about that then, I imagine.
Yeah, I was happy for him.
Amazing. Well, now before we go to Mamoun and Mario sharing with us a little bit more on their final project, also having Pedro here, because Pedro obviously he's been a professional working in football in many capacities, no? I think your perspective, Pedro, is also very important, because obviously you are doing with the Peruvian Football Federation as a scout, also being part of Rafa Benitez's team in several clubs through Europe over the years. Your vision is also very important to us, as to now that you knew about all these things before you were with us, no? But do you think the way the Masters is structured and the way things are taught really aligns and really helps for people? Is it well designed for people to really get the best gist of it all and get to know the best they can from a training like that?
Yeah, so I speak this and I talk to this with all the students, once I talk to them, for example, with Marek at the beginning before joining the Masters. So we were talking a lot about scouting, how I scout. Of course, I'm not the best scout in the world. I told him how I scout. you know.
I'll tell you what, I've seen you working, and I was quite impressed, by the way. But
no, but you know, we always have to improve. It doesn't matter you are the best coach in the world, the best team in the world. But yeah, so of course these masters, and this I try also to transmit this message to all of the students who want to join these masters, is the only masters in the world that is 100% applied to football, you know. So it will give you a perspective that in order to apply everything that we teach into the football context, you know. And you were saying before a very important point, that is that all that we teach here can be applied to many different roles within a football structure, you know. So for example, we have engineers, we have people who are scouts, who are sporting director, head of technology, and they are still studying with us, you know, because we teach different perspectives that they may not understand, or they are not, they want to complete their angles, you know. So of course they are professionals, and we have a lot of professionals, and not only from the football industry, but from any other industry. And this master will provide you with these kind of things, which I think is very important, because I don't know if Marek said before, or Marios, that the market is very competitive nowadays. So you have no any other choice than to study and to understand the analysis and data department nowadays, you know. And I say one thing, and I have to say as well, you know, that the analysis, a lot of analysis is paralysis. We say it in Spanish, you know. So for me, it's like, okay, analysis is very important. It's obvious, you know. I'm the head of academic advising of these masters, and of course, I really believe this is important. But you have to put it into the context. We will give these tools, and then you have to be smart enough with all the knowledge you have in order to put into the context. This is what I mean, right?
And I think, sorry for interrupting there, but I think something important I understand as well is the fact that, yeah, many clubs and many institutions are embracing data, but many are not so sure yet. It's still, you know, landing this whole thing. And I think it is important that us as professionals could show the owners of the team, the CEOs, the presidentes, not all these important people, how impactful these things that we are applying are to the club, because for many people who don't know, it's hard to say it. And I think one of their roles is to actually show, look, this that I'm doing, this that I'm actually working on is going to have a direct impact in the results of the club or the squad of the club. And Mamoun, for example, being in a youth perspective, obviously he's showing and he's working on it, so people around him can see how important it is. No?
This goes to Mamoun or to me, Pablo?
No, to you. Like I was going along to what you were saying. Yeah. I just love talking, you know. But yeah,
no, for sure.
What you were saying about the context, no, the context.
Yeah. No, and for sure, and this is very important point as well, because for example, let's name one recent example that has been successful. But even in this example with Mendilibar, that we know he's not very attached to data, you know, but for sure, all the departments, and Olympiacos has a very good department of analysis. Data, no? You know, for example, we have Yanis studying with us. Not only for Yanis, but all the professionals that they have. I know some of them, and they work really well. So it doesn't matter that the coach is all fashion in this style, but he's very good coach. Of course, this is obvious. But at the end of the day, it impacts many different areas of the club. And this is a fact nowadays. So they need to embrace it somehow, you know. So this is something that even the old coaches, they have to assume, you know, because it helps us to the decision making in many different areas.
Amazing. Yeah, that's a good example of Mendilibar, no? How impactful he's been. And yeah, we know he's not big on data, but still, you know, you go into a club.
But he receives data because he needs to implement it. Even if he doesn't want to go very deep on this, he needs data, you know, to understand the main things of different departments.
Absolutely. And just going along to what Pedro is saying, and the point of view of how what we learn in the master taps into pretty much every aspect. We're gonna get into Mamun and Marius in a minute, but Attila and Marek, do you already know what you want to be focusing on for your final project? Have you got an idea? Has this master helped in shaping that idea? Let's start with Marek first, for example.
Yeah, I already mentioned it that I want to cover the topic of advanced data scouting in Tableau. It's something what I do, and I want to cover there like how to change basic, for example, Y-Scout data to custom-made metrics, custom-made scouting dashboards, etc. So this is a topic that I think is very useful, and for me it is really helpful. So this is something I want to cover there.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Marek, for sharing that. And Attila?
Yeah, I'm currently thinking about working data with financial aspects of football clubs. I'm actually looking for the answer whether a football club can be run and operate with positive balance for consecutive years. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a financial aspect of running a football club, but that's one of my interests, and it feels like it also fits for the purpose of the final project. But I also just wanted to mention that I previously had another master totally out of scope of football. It was a finance master, and there I was already creating a model to evaluate football players. So I was thinking of just continuing that project that I did earlier, or starting something quite new for me. It feels like I'm always up for challenges. So yeah, that's gonna be my project.
Well, on that, I don't know if it's something you guys know because we haven't done a lot of marketing on this, but in English, for Sports at the Campus, we have several masters, most of them in Spanish, and then this is the masters that we do in English language, MSc Data Analytics in Fútbol. From October, we're gonna release new masters in English. One of them, it might be of your interest, Attila, is new technologies applied to football entities, football institutions, from every angle, not only for the game, more like also institutions in terms of finances, in terms of everything else that could be applied technology beyond the game. Also, we're gonna release a masters on AI applied to football, fully AI and fully algorithms and things like that. And then another one, which is AI applied to physical performance in football, focusing more on the physical side, the injury prevention, the full performance, not so much about tactics or anything like that, more for fitness coaches and things like that that want to start using data in there. So that's coming. We got a big thing coming soon. But yeah, now let's focus on hearing from Marius and Mamun and what they've done for the final project. They're gonna share some words with us on what they've done, how they did it, etc. Obviously, we can grab some ideas based on what they've been saying throughout the session. But Mamun, shall we start with you, for example?
Sure. So very briefly, so my idea was starting. So where I started from was notice that and this is through the masters and talking to a lot of people as well outside of the masters, but I see that in the industry, a lot of reporting or data is used in the scouting side of the shop, if you like, where you're focused on either signing new players or thinking about renewing contracts or things like that. So I started to think about what about the coaching process itself. So, like, can we use data to support the coaching process itself? And within that, the performance of individual players. So I started off by thinking about looking at like FB ref reports are a summary, for example, of 1 year's worth of performance. But what it fails to tell you is the variation throughout the year. So it gives you a snapshot at the end of the season. This player was good at on these metrics, or not so good on these other metrics, right? So what I was trying to see is okay, can we build a performance score, but it's a game by game performance score, and to try to think of it as a time series. And I know games are not they're discrete events, but they're not in exactly the same time intervals. but we can make some assumptions. So I make some assumptions and say, okay, can we build a complete game performance score for each player? And can we calculate their compute their performance scores for each game they play in the season? So let's say the season has 38 games. I'm assuming we're just playing in one league. We have 38 performance scores, and can we see trends? Are the scores changing over time? So I used to remember back in the day, coaches will say things like, "Oh, strikers they score in bouts. You know, they have a portion of the season where they don't score, and then
Morata is a lot like that.
all of a sudden they start scoring a lot. So can we see things like that in these trends? And so I use the traditional scouting framework. You know how you look at a player from a physical, tactical, technical, and psychological perspective. And then can we group metrics in that sense? And then we have a holistic kind of view of the player's performance. And one interesting thing to know about each game for the psychological side, of course, it's really hard to measure things, but I'm think things like committing fouls can be. I said maybe that's one indicator of not being focused, miscarries, yellow cards, you know. So I picked a few things that I thought maybe could be not necessarily are directly related to psychological factors, but indicative in a sense, you know,
And
or high.
sorry, could it give you insights on, for example, it's a long season, 38 games, right? Like, for example, some players perform better in the winter time or in certain months, and therefore from what you were saying about the coaching, but also from the sports direction. For example, if I want to make a signing for the end of the season, for the second half of the season, because we don't want to be relegated and we want a player that's going to change, add something to the team, I think the information that you are looking into providing could be really helpful we have the whole perspective, not just the end result of the season, but the ups and downs of the season.
The ups and downs, and when should you rest a player? When should you play them? You know, there is as part of that, you need there's the physical performance side. So you incorporate the physical data, and you can get to see the holistic picture. So you have one score that gives you the holistic picture of the player's performance. So from the tactical, technical. So we pick a subset of metrics, and you know it's a flexible framework. So different coaches have different ideas about what's important tactically and technically, but maybe perhaps we can all agree if your physical output is too high and you're tired, you know, we can all agree that maybe you need a rest. Some coaches might say no, but let's assume that. But then the goal is, okay, now I can see performance trends throughout the season. Now as a coach I have decisions to make, right? I have data that tells me, okay, this guy is overworked, this guy is not focused, this guy is not performing as well. I have objective evidence, you know, it's not just the eye test. You know, I have objective evidence that tells me, you know, this guy is misplacing too many passes or missing too many shots or committing too many fouls, and you know, and you can see it in a trend base. And then the last piece of it was, okay, now we have individual player performance scores. Well, two things I should say. One is we can then these scores are position specific, so the choice of metrics and so on are related to each position on the field. So I can do all sorts of things now. I can benchmark my players against each other, compare them against each other by position and so on. And then if you take one game and you have 11 players, you have 11 scores. If you aggregate it, those scores, or you sum up those scores, can this final game score be correlated to wins and losses? And in in the project I showed, it absolutely is correlated to wins and losses, highly correlated to wins and losses. And so yeah, that was kind of the idea. And I think so the benefits of this is you can you know, first of all understand which factors are affecting performance, you know, and think of them in a way that coaches or coaching or scouts traditionally understand. So the four corner model, right? Everyone in this industry knows. And then you could look at trends, you know, as opposed to the end of the season. and you can support the coaching process and allow coaches to make decisions by game to game.
But also,
And so,
I'm thinking preempting, no? Like, okay, if we realize this is the trend for this player, and preparing, for example, the whole planning of the personal trainer, physical trainer in the club, to make sure you target those things on an individual basis, so to work along not only with everyone in the coaching staff, no, from managers to
yes.
physical trainers. That's very interesting.
So we call them IDPs, so individual development plans. Yes, absolutely. So you can work on the individual player's needs. One guy needs an arm around the shoulder, needs to meet the sports psychologist and maybe have a chat. One guy needs to get some more hours in the gym. You can adjust based on what's needed. That's the idea, at least.
Amazing. No, it sounds very good. Are you happy with the result of what you did?
Yeah, more or less. More time and more. If this was a full-time thing, I could definitely do a much, much, much better job. But I'm happy with the outcome for sure.
Amazing. Have you shared your project on LinkedIn or on the platforms at all?
Not yet. I'm waiting for feedback from Pablo
Yeah.
Sandoval. I would like to hear his perspective for sure before I go out and brag about it. But I'd
Perfect.
like to hear from people in the field who know better than I first before I do anything like that.
Well, when it's out, I'll be looking forward to taking a proper look at it. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Mamun, for sharing that. I think it's very interesting. Obviously, if anyone in the call has any questions to Mamun, feel free to jump on and ask with no problem. And let's move on to Marios, because that was Mamun. And let's see now, from a person doing the master from a different perspective with a different goal, what came out of your project.
Basically, I was talking with Pablo one day, Sanzol.
Yep.
And I was talking, I want to be a sports director when I will finish football, but I told him in Cyprus, the teams some teams invest in data, but most of the teams, they don't have budget, let's say, for data. And he challenged me for the final project to, without from open source data that I will find, how I was going to use data in player recruitment.
Okay.
And basically, in the final project, I'm showing step by step how I develop the ranking system for players regarding their metrics, their data, and the similarity tool, as I told you before, after DribLab.
Impacted you?
Yeah, and I developed one similarity tool. Basically, that was it for me.
Amazing. I think it's very important how sometimes I know for a fact that some people in the masters have done projects related to their environment, to what is close to them. Like for example, you were saying, I'm noticing that in Cyprus we struggle because many clubs don't have the budget, don't want to focus on it. So I could focus on trying to help on that line and still going for it. Like I think we have another student from Cyprus as well who wanted to do a project with Aris Limassol and working on stressing their academy in terms of.
I think Aris is one of the teams that they work with data. Apoel, the current
Apoel as well. We collaborate with both teams. We're doing
and
a
another
project
two
with
teams.
Apoel.
The others not a lot with data.
Yeah. But
I
it's
mean,
good.
they have Y Scout, but they don't have data analysts. So the basic things they have.
Yeah, and for example, we have a student, Dimos. He's doing a project with Apoel currently, and yeah, he's looking into liberating or giving some more time to the data analyst neophytos at the club, releasing him from the scouting side so he can focus on other elements, for example.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Very interesting, because the possibilities are endless, and we have cases of students who have gone for a bigger picture, like Mamun. I think that's something that can be applied to very useful in any club in the world, really. And we have exactly people who are doing more local things to help the local team and impact football that way. So for anyone watching and for you guys, I think it's the possibilities are endless. and obviously you have the support of Pablo Sansol, head of.
I forgot to say thank you to him.
Thank you, Pablo. I know he'll be
Public.
watching at
Thank
some
you,
point.
Pablo.
So yep.
Absolutely.
He's the
He
person
was next
behind
to me
the.
whenever I asked him something, he was there. Thanks a lot.
I'm glad.
And if I will be sports director, I will sign him. My first transfer.
Amazing.
And Pedro, you also, huh?
Okay, I take the note, huh?
Okay.
If I am a sporting director, before you get retired, I will sign you too.
Okay. Pablo, write it down, huh?
I got it
Okay.
written, and it's recorded anyway. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so good. Thank you guys for sharing your insights on your final project. I think it's actually a very important part of the grades of the masters that students get at the end of the masters. Obviously, you get to be assessed for every module with different tasks and questionnaires. But obviously, for the teachers, it's very important what you come up with and how you develop the project, because at the end of the day, it's basically a big part of what your portfolio will be and what you can do, and how this masters has helped you to develop something new from scratch. So very important to share your insights. And I think we're going to start wrapping up the session, if you guys want, with a few words from each of you on if you went to let's say your best friend is thinking about joining the masters, and you are going through it, you've done it, and what would you say to him? Obviously, you're missing information. We don't know if he wants to be a sports director or what he wants to do or what he wants to use the masters for. But let's imagine that they're thinking, is it a good thing or not? Is it good? Is it not? Shall I do it? Shall I not? Obviously, we know all the basics, that the master is 100% online, that you have the support and you can do the sessions in your own time if you have to. We have students from all over the world. Obviously, Mamun is in the US. Marios is in Cyprus currently. Marek is in Portugal currently. And Attila, I think, is currently between Sweden and Hungary as well. Obviously, Marek is Slovakia as well. But, we got students from all over the world. And time difference is not a problem. Obviously, that the master is designed to help anyone anyway. So, yeah, what would be your words if someone were thinking about joining the masters now that you've gone through it? Say, no, don't do it. It's the most awful thing in the world. But yeah, no. Say what you would like to say. Attila, we can start from you because I'm going to go clockwise in my screen.
Sure. So I would say if someone thinking about taking their next steps into the football industry, it's definitely worth to join to the education program, mainly because the network that we can get connected to by the tutors, by the trainers. I think network is really important in this industry specifically, and to be able to get answers of your questions from the highest level, from top level professionals. I think it's definitely worth to just take a chance.
Amazing. Thank you Attila for that. That was great. Thank you. Marek.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it, and mostly because of its complexity. I think that there are like many different courses that can tell you part of the story, but I really like here that it is covered from A to Z in a very, very clear way. And so if you have some data analytics experience before and you want to just improve it and get to another level, or you have none and you want to start with that, like it's not important like what kind of position you are aiming for, but you want to go like deeper into data and data analytics, I think that you can benefit from it in your own way. So I think that's the great thing about this.
Amazing. Thank you for your words, Marek. Let's go with Marios.
Definitely. Also, I will recommend it to everyone that is interested in doing the masters. Whether you are in football industry or not, whether you have football background or not, it doesn't matter. And for me, the most important thing, I will agree with Attila, is a network, and that you are learning from guys that are currently professionals in the football industry. This is very important.
Yeah. Thank you. It's one of the main things for us. I think what you guys starting to know, the professionals teaching, not just a random lecturer that knows about data from X university, but no, people who are doing the do on a daily basis, but also the complexity that Marek was talking about. We wanted to create a program that fully focused on football, that, holistic, covering every aspect of it, and how no matter what your goal is, where you come from, you can get juice from many different parts. And obviously, as we've seen, take your career or your learning into one direction and discover, I want to focus on set pieces, I want to focus on scouting, I want to focus on this, and it gives you elements from every angle. So thank you for that. And Mamoun, we finished with you in that part.
Yeah, I second everything my colleagues have said. I think for me, the big piece is doing. So the master's is not theoretical. It's not, fluff in a sense. You are with folks who are in the industry, and you start immediately by doing projects. You get your hands dirty right away. So every module you're in there, whether it's building an analytics dashboard or writing code or doing a code window in a video or whatever, the task is it's learning by doing, and that's something for me that's very valuable. So if you're interested, then for me that's the way to learn.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And one last thing before we say goodbye, and I thank you guys again for being here. I think you were tapping into all these elements. Do you think, and it can be a yes or a no, do you think you are ready to work in professional football, whether it's a club, whether it's the industry? Do you think that you gathered the skills to be able to perform? Because one thing is to know, and we all know this, we study a career, and I don't have a clue. And then I was originally a teacher, right? A PE teacher. Yeah, I learn all the things, and then I'm in a classroom and I don't have a clue of what to do, because I've been learning, but I haven't been with the kids in the classroom, and that's a whole new level, right? So would you think that you're ready if tomorrow a club knocks at your door and offers you the job that you're aiming for, that you're dreaming for? You think you're ready for it? Anyone?
I would say yes.
I think Attila, you're talking, but you are muted. But yeah, we heard from Mamoun, yes.
Yeah, I would say yes, because you're like I said earlier, you're doing. You're not just reading stuff or learning theoretical stuff. You're actually doing. And I don't know how it is like in Europe, but in the US, one of the big things when hiring for any job, especially in data world, is you have a portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have a GitHub repo or something like that, you could take all your work and put it out there and show it to the rest of the world.
Which is a very good point. We recommend our
Yeah.
students
Yeah.
go and use, obviously, LinkedIn is probably the most, the platform, the
Yeah.
professional platform,
Yeah.
not to every module, the task, go and share it and start creating your portfolio and your brand, if you want. Of how we got the story of Pablo Sansol, how Pablo Sansol did the masters with us, and he was a freak of posting things on LinkedIn. And when the masters finished, Cadiz CF called him. They wanted him just by everything he posted there. This guy knows what we need, someone to know to perform for us. No, so good. Attila, I think you were saying something and we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, so I mean, during the classes, we have heard that it always depends how much you put into the education. So your level basically depends on your determination and your time that you spend with practicing. But I would say doubtless that those who definitely paid attention on the classes and did everything like as a routine on each classes, I think the program allows you to get started working immediately after you finish the education, even probably before. For me, it's not the case because I have another profession currently, but yeah, absolutely.
Amazing, thank you. And obviously, needless to say, we're never ready until we properly start. Once you start in the football industry, you get experience, you learn probably 3 times, 4 times, a never-ending learning experience just being a professional in the field. That's without saying. But yeah, the idea is what you guys were saying. If to take that initial step, the master gave you what you think you needed. So Marek, what's your vision on that?
Yeah, I believe I'm ready because I already work as data analyst, so hopefully I'm ready.
Yes.
And but there is still a lot of to learn, of course. But I believe that I already have some interesting added value for clubs, for example.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. And to finish, Marios.
I think I'm ready also. Okay, I'm lacking experience in the new position, but I am ready. I will have Pedro with me, so
I mean, in your case, also you know the football industry inside out from your position, obviously in a different capacity as a footballer. But good to hear. Good to hear.
I think I'm ready. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
I take note, Marios. I
By
don't
the
forget.
way,
Don't worry.
something to mention for those who just finished, and I know we're working on that, and for those who finished, Sports Data Campus recently came up with a new department called Professional Extension Department, fully focused on helping you guys transition from the masters into the football industry in as much as we can. Obviously, we don't hire people because we are not football clubs or companies, but the idea is to facilitate the access to internships to our students, but do it in a more structured way now. Also, those projects, if there is an idea of a project that, for example, what Mamun has done or what Mario has done, that could be implemented in a club, get you guys and the clubs in touch. And the idea is to help you, do that transition. So obviously, I want to have a chat with all of you in the coming days regarding this. Those of you who won't partake in internships, let's talk about the options that we currently have with all the teams we collaborate with, the potential collaboration with Cyprus Football Federation and projects that might arise from that, and take it from there. So obviously, we want to facilitate this for every student, and we do our best with our ecosystem of clubs, companies, etc., and now a dedicated department into improving the way we can actually help you in that process. So yeah, we'll have a chat in the coming days with all of you, but for everyone watching, that is now in place, and we want to make sure that we don't only give you the training with all the lectures, all the sessions, etc., but also the possibility to have that experience as well. So yeah, well, guys, it's 8:13 here in Spain currently. I'm very grateful that you guys decided to join us for the session today. It's great to have you. Great to hear your experiences from the masters. We really value it. We do our best, and obviously, I know, like in any masters, in anything in life, there is always room for improvement, and we always work on trying to make everything better and better. But it's been good to hear some of your insights and your positive feedback. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being in the call. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Attila. Thank you, Marek. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Mamun. Thank you, Pedro, obviously, my colleague here in the journey in the campus. It's been great to hear your...
Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
I
appreciate that you guys were with us, and let's talk in the coming days. And the journey is just started for us all, hopefully, and there will be lots of success stories to tell in the coming future. But thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone watching as well.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much,
and I look forward to see you guys around. Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you
It was
are.
my pleasure.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye. Take care. Ciao, ciao.